So this is a perfect opportunity for me.
Well, I think most people know you as our music director, but they may
Correct.
not know too much more about you and what you do. And I just know that getting 20 minutes of his time is quite the accomplishment. So I think he's pretty busy.
Thank you. I've done a lot of things. Right now, I'm a payroll manager for 2,000 employees for a large nursing home facility group through Central Florida. We have one in Southern Florida and one in Jacksonville. And I love doing that. It's honestly, I started that job 1 month before I became the music director here, and it's been the best job of my life. And I'm 1,000 years old. Thank you. And this has been the best, most amazing experience being the music director here. So it's amazing how both the best job and the best music experience of my life came together at the same time. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I also do bookkeeping on the sides. I just quit a 10-year stint of hosting karaoke, which is a lot of fun, but I'm glad I have some free time. Now I get to go to dinners and have a good time and enjoy myself.
So instead, you decided to do the cabaret here again, to be sure you stayed busy, right?
Keep your fingers crossed. We started the talk, so we're going to do another cabaret December 4th. But at this point, we're calling it Holly Jolly Cabaret, The Return.
Okay. Yeah, so I kind of thought, when I thought about how busy you are, that what you were going to want to talk about was about stress relief or something, meditation and going to the spa.
That's candy.
But that's not at all how you find joy in your life, right?
Well, and that's the title of our talk today, Enjoy the Game of Life. And if you think about it, life is a game. I mean, if you think about it, we have all of the things that in our lives that we're doing, we'll call them game pieces, right? And they're constantly moving around, and we do the best we can to control them. We do the best we can to gear them to the most positive aspect that we can, right? Nonstop, so that we lead a positive life. And I highlighted the word joy because I looked up the word enjoy. It actually started in the late 1800s by the French, I should say. I'll learn how to talk. And enjoy has it all built into that. Enjoy, it's filled with joy. So enjoy your life, fill your life with joy. And to me, that's kind of like the way I like to live my life.
Yeah. So, as you know, I've been in Science Mind for 42 years now. I think that my first textbook probably proves my point. It's falling apart. I thought my job today is going to be to anchor us back into science mind philosophy, and so I looked up the definitions of the words we're using, and one of them is joy, and I may have to go get my glasses because I couldn't print this in size 14 font. I just realized that's going to be a problem here.
So mine's 20 instead of 14.
Okay. So Ernest can do some kind of long definitions, but he did a pretty quick one for joy because it's such a big topic, right? Joy, the emotion excited by the expectancy of good, gladness, delight, and exultation.
I love that.
So that's that word.
That is flawless.
That's what we're teaching. If you don't know this.
That is flawless. I love
Yeah.
that. It really says it all. So joy of life. Who's heard that term, joy of life? And for me, the joy of life says that I or whomever has the joy of life in their heart, that they live their life as much through joy as possible, and they exude that in the way they react to people, the way they talk, the way they smile, the way they are with people. So to me, the joy of life, and by the way, that was also developed in 1888 by the French. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with the French? Well, they're supposed to be a loving community. So. and the joy of life is being excited about life. Appreciating life, and taking the time to say thank you for these beautiful wood floors that never need polishing. They're beautiful. That's something I want to be grateful for. We're going to talk a lot about gratitude because I believe gratitude is a big part of joy. I want to show you a quick video, though. Do I just hit next button? Okay, you please do. This is a doggy bus that comes and picks up your dog. Look at how excited they are. And takes them to a place where they get to run free for the day. Look at the tail. Look at this guy. They're so happy to see each other. Is that the sweetest thing? This little, look, he's just wobbling up there.
Oh.
I love those videos. They're all over YouTube where you get to see, have you seen them? Oh my, there's so much, and they're so filled with joy. I mean, to me, that is the ultimate in joy, is watching dogs be happy. You're right?
Right.
So when you talk about joy, we'll show this real quick. So those are my kids, by the way. They're not dogs or cats, they're kids. To the right, the tan one is Teddy.
Teddy.
He's 9 years old. He's a toy Yorkie Terrier. He's the diva and the runner of the house. He runs me ragged. The one in the middle, you can barely see him on the brown towel, is Jake. He's 16 years old. He's been having some health issues, but I'll tell you something. I come home from work, and that dog is so happy to see me, even with his health issues. God bless him. He's just amazing. 16 years old. And that big blob is my newest member of my family. And I've had, by the way, now makes 14 animals since I was 19 years old, 14 pets. That's how much I love animals. If I ever get a house again, which I'm looking at condos, I'm probably going to go up about 3 or 4 animals. That is CK, otherwise known as Crazy Kitty or Cute Kitty. And he is under a year old. Christy's met him. He's huge. He eats all the time. He's huge. I'm afraid what he's going to be like in 5 years. I got to watch that for his health reasons. Anyway, those are my kids. You can go to the next slide.
I do want to point out that Teddy and Jake attended the foundations class here.
Yes, Teddy and Jake, that's right. We were on video, and they were in the background. I was holding them up. This is Teddy, this is Jake.
So they're well-educated dogs.
Yeah. So how do I get out of that? Oh, no, so I'm going to go back to the slide. There we go. So did you have more on joy?
Well, I do have one on our next one, although I have a question for you,
Sure.
but you kind of answered it. You know, I had this question, I was going to ask you how you stay excited about life when you are feeling lonely or life feels like just this kind of repetitive drudge, but I think you sort of said that. You look at videos of dogs.
That does help. Well, you know what, and so there's a variety of ways that I like to take my life and try and keep it geared to being happy, and we'll talk about happiness in just a minute. But joy is happy, and happiness is, I think I'm saying it right, a derivative of joy. In other words, to me, joy is the ultimate happiness, right? Because often joy, to me, leads to spiritual happiness. When I think joy, I can't help but to think I'm well grounded at that time, and I'm feeling the love of God in my heart, and I'm feeling the love of people around me and inside me, and that brings me to that highest level of joy that's available to each and every one of us, should we decide to accept it. Now, I'm not trying to be a Mission Impossible movie or anything. Excuse me, I have to stand up sometime. I told her I would.
He said he would need pacing
life
space.
Includes excitement about life. How many people do you know that just are not excited? They're just not excited about anything. And you know, for me, I don't try and change them, but I might throw a little positivity their way, make them feel good, and hopefully it maybe lights a fire, because we all have the right, and it's not a responsibility unless you want it to be, we all have the right to live in a life of happiness and joy, right? And a lot of times what we say to ourselves, in my opinion, dictates how we come off to people or how we really feel inside. So I'm very careful about the words I choose. Like, I don't use the word tired in my vocabulary, because the second I say it, I'm going to feel it. And that diminishes my joy. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get sleepy or exhausted from working hard out in the yard, which I never do anymore. But I like being happy. I like feeling joy in my life on a regular basis. And we all have the right to do that regularly. So my tactic is, if something happens and I'm having a rough moment with whatever it is, I experience it, I go through it, I whip through it as quick as I possibly can. Let me tell you, I do ADP. Have you heard of ADP? They're a payroll company. And I use them, and they frustrate me on Wednesdays to no end. So it's gotten better after this last year has. But there was a time I was so scared of Wednesdays because I knew I'd have to deal with them. But I would deal with them, and now all of a sudden Wednesdays in the last year have gotten so much better. And part of it, I think, is my own mentality of, I'll deal with it, I'll move through it as quickly as I can, and I'm going to jump right back into that state of joy, that state of gratitude, which allows us to feel joy. So I get excited about that. I get excited about life because I have complete control every single second on what I choose to feel. Doesn't mean I'm not going to feel bad or sad, God forbid, depressed or sad because of a loss of a loved one. But as soon as I can, I'm going to pull myself back into that joy. And then I appreciate. So the difference between excitement and appreciation is I'm not only excited about it, I appreciate that I'm alive. And I appreciate that I have the opportunities that I have. And I say opportunities because this second with you all here right now is an opportunity for me. Not only am I taking that opportunity, but I am in heaven. Seriously, thank you for letting me do this because I've been wanting to for a long time, and I'm really pleased about the opportunity you've given me to do this. So I appreciate life. And then I acknowledge my blessings. I'm constantly, for the longest time, about 15, 20 years ago, when I really delved into this, I would be driving to work, and I'd be like, okay, I love the green of those trees because I'm from Tucson, and we don't have a lot of green trees. So it's all desert, right? And it's amazing scenery, absolutely amazing. But when you come here, and suddenly everything's green, it really changes your perspective. So I get excited about it. I'm like, okay, I really am grateful for those trees. I see green. I'm grateful for the green grass. How many of you had parents who told you, be grateful that you have 10 toes and 10 fingers? Right? That took you back, right? Because it's so true. When we're grateful for everything we are and everything that we have, it leads to that level of happiness and joy. And gratitude. So that's going to be, we're going to talk about that more in the happiness section. But gratitude is a huge issue and a huge component, in my opinion, of joy. Because gratitude, and I'll explain more about what I call the snowball effect with gratitude in just a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to share my research here, looking for what Holmes had to say. This is a quote I wanted to put under the appreciating life. And I think one of the things that happens for us is we get to thinking of it as a very spiritual thing with it. We're all just talking about, I have to have spiritual joy, but we have bodies and we live in a manifest world. And I thought this was really on point. We should neither separate spirit from matter, physical form from that which gives form, nor life from living. To suppose that one must retire from the world to be spiritual is one of the greatest possible mistakes. This is directly opposed to the self-evident truth that spirit enjoys itself only in its own works, which is its self-manifestation. So we are the works of spirit, and therefore spirit must enjoy itself through us. We enter into the spirit of life only as we enter into the spirit of living. There can be no real enjoyment of life until we see that everything is animated by spirit, and as we see that things are thus animated, we are beholding the real universe. The essence of reality is invisible, but the substance of the invisible is seen and heard, just like we are seen and heard, and it is part of the everyday life of all. And I just, that idea that we keep trying to make this separation, we even talk about, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I keep trying to correct that. It got really embedded in you thought. We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. This is a spiritual experience. And the joy and happiness that God and, spirit, if you prefer that word, has to be right here. This is how it has to manifest.
Right.
So.
And you take that and you live that way and you think that way on a regular basis, regardless of what's going on. We all have different things happening to us, some more severe than others. God bless everybody who's having severe things happen. But as soon as you can, pull yourself back. It's interesting, when I had the heart surgery.
Yes. How many bypasses?
I had 5 open, I had 5 blocked arteries for no apparent reason. We didn't know. They said, oh, stop the butter. I'm like, no. Stop the pasta. No. Salt. No. I've cut back. And my new doctor, he says, oh, you can have real butter, just not margarine. I'm like, good for me. I'll take it. But I remember when I had it, I was in the hospital, and it took it was a week, almost a week and a half before they were able to get me in to schedule a surgery, right? And so many people came and saw me. The love that I got was amazing. It was such a blessing. I'm so grateful for it. It was incredible. And I was more like, just get this over with. Just get this over with. Come on, a week and a half sitting here doing nothing, I couldn't leave. I was attached to machines. And then the surgery happened. And I was attached to machines beyond your imagination. I had 5 different big machines attached to me, and I got up, I had to get up slow and do their whole rules and all that. And yet, I never lost my sense of joy. One, I believed in the medical system enough to know that they would do a good job. And if they didn't, if it was my time, you know what? I have led a remarkable life. There are people in other countries who would kill to have the life I've led. And when you have that, when you acknowledge that, that's why I put up there, acknowledge your blessings. When you acknowledge your blessings and realize what we have clothes in our body every day, we have food in us and water available to us. When we go down to the basics, I don't mean down, but when we go to the basics and say, I'm grateful for that. I love your red hair. Is that not something how beautiful it is to be grateful for? So the more you're grateful, we're going to talk about more in happiness, but gratitude really allows us, when we acknowledge our blessings and are grateful for them, we can live that sense of joy if we decide we want to.
I think we better move on to happiness.
Let's do that.
Because that's where a lot of our tools are. Yeah.
So let me push this little.
All right, and I'll give you the definition. A state of well-being or enjoyment of good of any kind, and then he goes on for a while about what it is in the world. But here, in metaphysics, it means a state of inner peace, a consciousness of the goodness of God and the beneficent attitude of the universe, a realization that joy can come to everyone. It has a definite effect on mind, body, and affairs. And I know that's part of what you're talking about, is the effect that our joy has on how we're experiencing our world. It's a state of permanent joy. It is never the will of God or universal harmony that anyone should be unhappy. We have a right to any happiness of which we can conceive, provided that happiness hurts no one and is in keeping with the nature of a progressive life.
I like the word right in there. We have the right. It's our God-given right, our spirit-given right to say, I'm going to experience joy. And even if we're not in joy at that particular moment, we have the opportunity to change that. We have the opportunity and the right to become in that by teaching ourselves. When I was in my early 30s, I started reprogramming my mind. And I said, I'm not going to be the negativity that I grew up with. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be part of that negative lifestyle. And it worked. I started listening to a lot of positive motivational tapes, Wayne Dyer and a bunch of people like that. And I'm telling you, it absorbed and it stuck. I'm like, I can be happy. And what did was it Wayne Dyer that said, being miserable takes work, being happy is easy.
That's a good one.
Oh,
it takes more.
I heard your laughter through the mic.
It takes more to frown, too.
Exactly.
It takes more muscles to frown.
More muscles.
Yeah.
So in happiness, when you're happy, you create endorphins, right? Everybody know what endorphins are? Those who work out know what they are for sure, because after a workout, you get this rush of good feeling. It's a natural chemical in our body that makes you feel good. Well, when you're happy or you're elated, I love that word elated too, it creates endorphins. And the way to create those endorphins is by having fun, being silly. Oh, is it time?
It's time.
At least you didn't make me put on the other one.
You said you wouldn't wear this.
Oh, thank God. Linda tried to put one of the birthday things on me once. I said, no, girl, no. So having fun, being silly, laughing. Laughter is such an amazing way to create endorphins. When you create endorphins, it helps lead to that happiness, which is the step before pure joy. Like those dogs. Pure, unadulterated, 100% pure light and joy. I mean, we as humans can be that if we want. It's entirely up to each of us to do that on our own if we want to. Smiling. I work real hard at smiling at strangers when I'm walking down the street. Or I see somebody over there and I look at we catch each other's eye. I try and smile. Because what it lifts them up. A smile helps the endorphins lift me up, and then I can be happier. So happiness is a choice. But now I want to focus. Have I got a minute to focus on gratitude?
Absolutely. I'm prepared.
Why don't you go first?
Well, so I thought as long as we're talking about gratitude, these are 2 different gratitude journals that have been handed out at various times here at the center. We've created them, and I think you're going to see more of this one this year. And there's more than one way to do this. This one is oriented, there are quotes, mostly from our textbooks, some from to Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life kinds of things. And it has listing, okay? So there's 10 items, and you list every day 10 things you're grateful for. And the way I've learned something like this works best is I can't just do the big broad ones every day. Oh, I'm happy for my health and my love. Blah, blah, blah. I'm happy for this specific thing that happened.
Specificity,
This
yes.
very specific things that
Yes.
are happening. And I find that really quickly, it gets me on the lookout for it, but it also expands my idea of how much I have to be grateful for. So it would be the pale green leaf I saw today.
Yes.
Yeah, and Cindy's red hair. I could go on your list today. Right?
You will.
And then this one is oriented a slightly different way. It has a quote from somewhere in New Thought and then a prompt. And it asks us to look around or to give consideration to something and then write about it. So there's writing space here. And it's also, not entirely, but somewhat leaned into the idea of gratitude forward. So that you're building this gratitude to bring more things in to be grateful for. So just, it's simple. You can make your own. We'll be probably giving these out. We have a gratitude workshop the first Sunday in November. We'll be sure that journals are available. They're usually like 30 days, and you do that. There are programs, there are apps that can come on and remind you of things. So there are all kinds of tools out there to really, really help us delve in and capture how grateful we actually are so that we can live in that mode.
So something I devised a good 10, 15 years ago is something I call the snowball effect. And I'll briefly explain it to you. So with gratitude, if you find something that you're grateful for, you feel grateful, right? This makes me feel grateful. So then having that gratitude helps you to notice or recognize something else that makes you grateful as well. Well, I feel more gratitude. Well, then you start to see something else that makes you grateful. I feel more gratitude. And it keeps going and going and going. It's from noticing and acknowledging something to be grateful for to actually feeling grateful, and you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and suddenly you've layered yourself into this foundation of nothing but gratitude. Doesn't mean you're not going to have ups and downs and roller coasters and all that, but you can have those as long as you know you eventually can come back to that level of gratitude and say, okay, I might have made a mistake here, I felt bad about that, but I'm still grateful for everything I have. This happened to me or to a friend and I was worried about them for a while, but I'm still grateful for everything I have because that's what I have. So gratitude to me is probably one of, if not the biggest thing that you can have in happiness and leading you to joy. Right. So did you say we sing a little song?
Yeah, I was thinking,
well,
I just wanted it to lead into that, though, for a moment. One of the things you haven't mentioned we can do to bring ourselves happiness is try something new. Step out of your comfort zone. So I figured if he was going to talk today, then I needed to join in singing. But we invite you all to join us because it's a really simple song you all know. All right?
We're going to close with...
yeah, I've got that joy
down in my heart. Everybody know that one?
Right.
2, 3. I've got that joy down in my heart.
Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I got that joy
down in my heart.
Down in my heart to stay.
One more time. I've got that joy down in my heart.
Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got that joy
down in my heart.
Down in my heart to stay.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you for that. Thank you for spending this time with us on Spiritual Wisdom Weekly from the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living. If this episode supported you in any way, we invite you to stay connected. Listen again, share it with someone you care about, or simply carry what resonated with you into your week. Until next time, take good care and keep growing in spirit.